Hey, what is going on, everyone? This is Mohammed, your personal PMP coach from Certified with Needs, coming back to you guys with another brand new video. Welcome to the series. In this series, we are simply just solving problems. And the reason being is because you can't pass the PMP exam without solving and understanding the problems. Okay? So we are going to use, again, our PMP Accelerator course, more specifically, the mindset section over here. Okay, if you're interested in the course, we have everything included in it, everything you need to pass, nothing extra, nothing, no more textbook, no more watching endless hours and hours and hours of videos. Whatever you need is in this file. Okay, if you want to check it out, book an appointment with us. You can check out the program. You can see if it's for you, and you can sign up if you're interested. Simple as that. Okay, we'll have Shubs, who is our program advisor, on the call. He passed the exam using this program in just 12 hours. I still don't know how he did it, but 12 hours. And I don't recommend that. But again, this program has everything you need in order to pass. Okay. So that being said, let's just jump into the questions now. And what we're going to do is we're going to read the answers first, and we're going to try to train our mindset and understand the patterns so that we can select the right answer without reading the question. On your exam, read the question, obviously, but we are training our mindset so that we can recognize these patterns. Okay, so A, agree with the project team on a suitable collaboration and make sure information is shared at all times. Okay, so I like this. You're involving the project team. And if you look at one of our principles over here, your team members are the experts. Make every decision with them. All right, and information is very important. Information pertaining to the project is very, very important. And the reason being is because your team members are going to need to know more about the project than anyone else. Use the same methods until the end of the current delivery and suggest new ones during the retrospective. Okay. Nothing wrong with that one. That's what we want to do. We don't want to ruin the retrospect. We don't want to ruin the sprint. We don't want to interfere. Refer to the policies and frameworks used at the company enterprise level and inform the project team members. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Tell the sponsor the project manager will use their own communication model to ensure on-time delivery. So I don't think the situation involves the sponsor. Remember that escalating, which is principle number 8, is simply about involving someone that does not need to be involved. Very, very important. Okay. So we eliminated D. Let's read the question now. A PM is working with the team to deliver a project in a company that uses different delivery methods. Okay. So we already know the team is involved. Very important. The PM is concerned about the communication channels currently suggested by the project management office because some information is taking too much time to reach the team members. Again, the problem involves the team, and that this is causing negative consequences for delivery. How should the PM avoid the situation in the future? Okay, so we are taking this proactive step. What should the project manager do next? The problem statement is what? That information is taking too long. Information is taking too long to reach the team. So I would say the answer that completely solves this problem is going to be A. Agree with the project team on a suitable collaboration method, right? And you want to agree with the project team because they're involved in the situation, and make sure all information is shared at all times. Okay, so this is knowledge sharing. This is where you have maybe a repository, maybe a Google Drive or something where you can keep all the information so that your team members can access it. There's a term for this, and I want you guys to mention it in the comments. Okay? I don't want to use this, but I don't want to use this example because I'm going to tell you the answer, but you're basically it starts with a P. You're both of them start with the P, but the one that I'm looking for starts with the P and it ends with an L. Okay, that type of communication. What is it? Let me know in the comment section. Very important term to know. Okay, so I'm going to choose A. All right, A is going to be the answer that I'm going to go with. Excellent, awesome. All right, guys, I'm looking at these questions for the first time too. So if you disagree with me on any of the answers, you let me know. Okay, 59. So a company must implement a new regulations. I'm reading the question because this is not a situation-based question. I can already tell from the answers. The government has specified a date when the regulation will be enforced, but has only provided high-level information on the regulation's requirements. Therefore, changes in definitions are to be expected due to uncertainty. What life cycle should the project manager use for this project? Okay. Now, guys, this is a tricky question. Right? It sounds very simple, and it is simple, but you might miss out on some information. Okay, so we have this regulation. No one knows anything about it. It's a new regulation. We have only high level information. We're expecting uncertainties around it, right? Okay, that sounds like agile to me. Uncertainty. I don't know where I'm going. I need iterations to assess the situation. That sounds like agile. But we're not only concerned about this regulation. We are concerned about the entire life cycle of this project. And we are only implementing one new regulation from the context of the question. Okay, from the question. Company must implement a new regulation. I know it's tricky. I know it is. It takes reading. Don't worry, there's not that many of these types of questions. You might get a couple of them, but not too many. I'm going to go with hybrid. Okay. Predictive is out of the question. Iterative, forget it, right? We're only focused on this exam. We're only focused on agile, predictive, hybrid. Okay. Anything else? Forget it. You're probably wondering, why is it not agile, Mohammed? Why is it not agile? Why is it hybrid? Because we're not only concerned about this regulation, we're concerned about the entire project, and we're only dealing with one new regulation. That's why. So we can properly assume that everything else is going to be pretty standard, meaning that we've done it before. All right. Awesome. So D, the forum agrees with me on that one. Okay. All right. So let's read the answers. Notify the project sponsor that the budget reduction requires schedule slip and scope reduction. So here's the thing. We never want to reduce the scope. Any solution that recommends, reducing a scope or something of that sort, we never want to do it, because if we have a scope, if we have a project scope, we need to complete what's in the scope. That's why we went through the entire process of defining the scope in the first place. We never want to reduce it. Collaborate with the team to assess the impact, I like this, of the change on the project and recommended updated project plan. I'm going to choose this one right off the bat. Right? Such a powerful solution. And this is the beauty of mindset. I didn't have to read anything else. We're collaborating with the team. That's one principle. We're assessing. That is the most important principle number one over here, taking a step back. Okay. And then we're recommending. So we're completing the entire solution. When you see a solution like that, guys, bam, read everything, but you're going to select that. Okay. Awesome. All right, let's move on to 61. Okay. A, create a new standard performance measure based on project requirements. All right. Develop different approaches based on team members' motivation and ability. Based on team members' skills, that would be better. But your motivation? And you have the word ability there, so maybe I'll give it some points, Let's just leave it for now. Develop a standard approach to provide feedback to all team members. Provide intensive oversight to team members who performed poorly. Okay, so that doesn't sound right. All right, that doesn't sound that good. What we're doing here is we're kind of pushing our poor performing team members to the side. This is not servant leader like. We don't want to create friction in our team. Okay, we don't want to create friction in our team. 61. Okay, so we have A, create a new standard performance measure based on project requirements. Develop different approaches based on team members' motivation and ability. Develop a standard approach to provide feedback to all team members. Provide intensive oversight to the team members who performed poorly. Okay, so this is probably a performance issue question. We don't want to go with D. This is going to create friction in our team. Remember, principle number 3, we never want to create friction in our team. Very important. Okay. And if you only address the poor performing team members, that might create friction, right? That's just one of the rules that we follow when it comes to this exam. So a project manager has completed an assessment of the project team's performance. Some team members have performed poorly on their assigned tasks. What should the PM do? Okay, so D is gone. We got A, create a new standard performance measure based on project requirements, which is good. That's what we want to do. Develop different approaches based on team members' motivation and ability. I like that a little bit more. It's much more flexible. You're looking at each individual, you're looking at their tasks, you're looking at their strengths. I like that much more. It's more project leadership like, servant leadership like, right? Honestly speaking, I would lean more towards A if I was working in my company. But I come from a very standardized company where things are done in a very standardized way, right? So you might feel the same way, but when it comes to PMI, B is going to be the best answer. Be flexible with your team. Look at them individually. Look at their skills and their ability and whatnot. Okay, awesome. We got B right. Okay, so some people chose C. Develop a standard approach to provide feedback to all teams. That's also good too. These are good solutions, right? I like B because it's more flexible with your team members. It assesses everyone. It doesn't just put like a blanket assessment on every single person. Okay, A, hire an external consultancy firm to focus on testing and quality control to avoid the issue in the future. Okay, so we don't want to hire right away. This is principle number 2 from our course. And principle number 2 is about it's about, never settle for delays or extra costs. Now, there are times where you will have to spend money. So this could be one of those times, but for now I'm not going to select it. I'm going to see what else there is. Propose an internal program that offers incentives for team members to find and fix bugs. That's your job, to find and fix bugs. Why am I going to pay you more for that? Right? Again, principle number 2, we want to avoid just handing over money. We don't want to do that. Closely evaluate the skill of the team, looking for technical gaps that need to be filed in order to improve quality. Okay. I don't like the word closely evaluate the skill set of the team. That sounds like micromanaging, and that's not servant leader like. Remember, our team members, right? Because we're dealing with a product. Remember, this is a key word. If they mention product is agile, it's agile. Because we're dealing with a agile project, our team is self-organized, right? And when it comes to self-organization, one of the things that we don't do is we don't micromanage them, right? So over here, self-organizing teams. Okay. So that's gone. Facilitate. I like this word. Is servant leader like. The next retrospective meeting, focusing the team on analyzing root cause. Okay, I love this. We got the root cause, guys. The root cause. That's one of the key words that the PMP loves to mention. If you don't believe me, that's one of our principles. One second over here. Oh man, I gotta really. Okay, root cause analysis right here. Okay, so one of our principles over there. So I like D. We're gonna go with that one. Awesome. See, we didn't even read the question. D is the answer. Okay, so this is a choose 2. So provide training to the team on emotional intelligence and status reporting techniques. Okay, nothing wrong with that. Promote an adaptive and transparent environment where the team can easily communicate with stakeholders. I love this. I'm going with B for now. Share weekly status reports with detailed information about the project and team performance. Weekly status reports are a bit too much, but with detailed information about the project and team performance, that's a little bit too nitty gritty. Let me micromanage you. We don't do that. Okay. We don't do that. Submit performance reports and task assignments to keep the stakeholder informed. Okay. Schedule regular meetings with key stakeholder to provide updates and receive feedback. All right, let's read this question. A key project stakeholder has started to escalate all issues and main requirements to the project sponsor. The PM is concerned about the team not receiving direct communication from the stakeholder. That is our core problem statement. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is we understand that, listen, this stakeholder should go to the team, but is going to the sponsor instead. What should we do about this? B is going to be one of the answers. Okay. Over here. And what we can do is so some performance reports are not going to solve anything. That's not the issue here. So these are gone, right? I'm going to go with E. Schedule regular meetings with key stakeholders to provide updates and receive feedback. Remember that meetings are always more powerful than just written reports or emails or whatnot. So I'm going to go with B, and I'm going to go with E. Okay. Let's see. Perfect, right? So you see how important it is to not only rely on the principles, but to also understand the problem statement. Do you see how quickly we solve this issue, but just by understanding what the problem statement is, right? It's a reading exam at the end of the day. All right, another one of these. I hate these multiple choice questions. But anyways, let's do it. Prioritize stakeholder based on project phase and need. Perform a stakeholder assessment to align with the project objectives. Okay. Classify and rank stakeholders based on their positions in the organization. Okay. Include all stakeholders in a stakeholder engagement plan and provide the same level of communication. So that's not going to be correct. We want to include all stakeholders in the stakeholder engagement plan. Fine. Nothing wrong with that. But the same level of communication. So you're going to communicate with your, let's say your team member or someone who's let's say the operations director who is directly involved in the project. You're going to communicate with that person and the same level as the CEO of the project who probably doesn't even know you. Develop a stakeholder impact influence matrix to determine the level of engagement. Okay, I like this one. This is literally taking a step back. Okay, what I'm assuming is that the question has to do with a lack of engagement. People don't really know what's going on. So that's our first step. Let's read the question. PM is leading a multi-year project that involves internal and external stakeholders. As the project manager begins to gather requirements, additional business stakeholders express interest in being involved. Okay. What three? Oh, 3 actions. Oh, wow. Okay. So we got to pick 3 now. E is going to be one of them for sure. Okay. E is going to be one of them for sure. D is gone. So now we're left with A, B, and C. I don't see the point of this. Classify and rank stakeholders based on their positions in the organization. I don't see the point of that. Because you can have the CEO heavily involved in the project. You could also have an intern heavily involved in the project. Why does their position in the organization matter? So just by the process of elimination, I'm going to choose A, B, and E. Let's see what the answers are. Okay, A, B, and E. We got it. Very good. And you want to choose A, prioritize stakeholders based on the project phase and need, because you want to know who you need to engage at the right time. You're not engaging everyone. You're not involving everyone. Perform a stakeholder assessment to align with the project objectives. Yes. If we have one objective, one deliverable, and involves 3 out of 10 stakeholders, I'm going to focus on those 3 for now. Remember, we don't want to use resources unnecessarily. Very important. Awesome. Okay, we're doing good, guys. Alrighty. So produce a value-added product for the customer in each phase of the project. Produce a value-added product for the customer as continuously as possible. Oh, I like this. Continuous value. Produce a value-added product for the customer in the beginning of the project. I don't know how that's possible in the beginning of the project. Produce a value-added product along with supporting documentation. So this is supporting documentation. Remember, guys, again, just for your project, just for the PMP, when they mention product, it is agile. Okay? When they mention product, a product, right? When they mention product, they usually mean software product or something that follows an agile development cycle. So just note that. We don't use supporting documentations that much in agile. So I'm not going to choose D, nor am I going to choose C. I'm going to choose B. Excellent. We got it. Okay. Value, always continuous. Continuous value. Okay. Agile is always about giving continuous value. How do we know it's agile? We know it's agile because they mentioned the P word, product. Product equals agile, agile equals product. And product equals agile, agile equals continuous value. Done. That's your formula. Okay, simple as that. Let's not complicate things. That's what it is all about. Awesome. Oh, we got one of these multiple choice questions. Okay, let's do this. So organize a team bonding activity. Invite an external manager to speak to the team. Team bonding is fine, especially if there's a lack of motivation and people don't really know each other. But an external manager, I don't like this solution. The reason being is because the PM should be the one to address the team. It's your team as the PM. Why an external manager? I'm not going to go with A. Set a clear vision for the project and ensure it is visible to all stakeholders. I like this. This is in the principle of taking a step back. Before doing anything, what is the vision? What is the big picture? I like it. Focus on the resource management plan and track project progress. Encourage the team to do a brainstorming session, provide a mitigation plan. Keep the team engaged and focus on the project's direction. Okay, so I like B, I like D and E. We're going to have to read the question and understand the problem statement. A PM is overseeing a project as part of a program geared towards a major technology disruption. Fine. Not really important. The team is comprised of brilliant young professionals who have worked on different projects for the organization. Okay, so you see all that information that's just provided? They're setting up the situation, but none of it is important when it comes to answering questions. What's going to come after is going to be the problem now. The team, however, complains that they previously experienced a lack of direction during project execution and are afraid of the same issue. All right, so the problem statement in simple English is lack of direction. Team does not have the team doesn't have direction. So B is definitely going to be one of the solutions. When it comes to mitigation plan, we're not mitigating anything. They just previously experienced a lack of direction. I would say B and E solve the core problem. Okay? Focus on resource management plan and track project progress. We're not dealing with anything related to resource management right now. That's not our issue. So B and E, we got it. Okay, so again, guys, problem statement is something that, and I've seen this a lot from our students, is that, and just people in general, they don't understand the problem statement. And I don't think it's a matter of they're not able to read the question. I think it's just the pressure of taking the exam, and then you have the timer, and then you're thinking and overthinking, and you read very quickly because you're nervous. But you have to get used to reading questions well. Okay, completely. Let's do one more question over here. Review and prioritize new requirements to stakeholders to determine which change requests are needed. I like this one. I'm going to choose A. I'm not going to read anything else. I'm just going to choose A. There we go. We got it. I like review. Review is a good word. It's taking a step back. You're reviewing with the stakeholders, important, and you're understanding change requests that are needed. Okay. That's one of the steps of a change request process anyways. Seek immediate approval. So this is an action that can follow principle number 1. We never want to escalate. Emphasize to new stakeholders that new requirements are not allowed. We never reject the request. If someone is asking for something, we never reject the request, guys. So telling someone, a stakeholder, that listen, we're not doing this, is rejecting a request. And also D is just untrue. It's false, right? You are allowed new requirements. Okay. All right. So that being said, let us end this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember, it's all about practice, and check out the link. It's going to be in the description. It's going to be in the comment section. Get certified. Get certified before this exam changes. It's starting to change, and our course is dynamic, meaning we update it very, very regularly from the feedback of our students. So you'll get the most updated version. Take care for now. Have a great day.